Hello, and welcome to, I believe, the fifth game of Valorant's Extra Life Marathon. I'm Taylor Felicity. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm going to be the game master for today. For anyone who's tuning in who's not familiar with Extra Life, I'm going to read a little blurb from the website so you can understand what we're raising money for, what the cause is. Extra Life is a fundraising program of Children's Miracle Network hospitals. The Extra Life community fundraises year round to change kids' health, to change the future. Donations go to local member hospitals to fund critical life saving treatments and healthcare services, along with innovative research, vital pediatric medical equipment, and child life services. I'm going to throw it over to my players to introduce themselves and tell you what hospital they're playing for, if they're playing for a specific one. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about the game, a little bit about the hospital that I'm specifically raising money for. And we'll go from there. So I think let me throw it over to Pope.
Hey everybody, Pope here, Pope World Build on the internets. I will be playing um, a delightful little mouse named Winston Breyer. Both of us use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing for Arnold Palmer's Children's Hospital here in Orlando, Florida. Um, I am absolutely excited to be playing something brand spanking new to me. And we'll see how Winston fares with 1 HP.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And then I will throw it over to Alex.
Hi, my name's Alex. I'm that one dead pixel all over the internet. Um, and today I'm going to be playing Pumpkin Spite. I use they them pronouns, but Pumpkin Spite uses she her pronouns, and she's just, this nice Midwestern lady who's just really interested in bats and has very, totally legitimate business proposal that she just wants everyone to be part of.
Perfect. And hang on, we're having a little bit of a tech issue. So, Val, do we need to go to a break? Okay. Oh. we're we're receiving transmissions. Sorry, chat. Amy, are you still hearing two of me?
Yeah, but I have no idea how to fix it, and I have no idea how to get any of my headphones to hook up. So just two of Taylor.
Oh. I'm throwing my voice. Okay, we'll be right back. Hello. Hello, we're back. The gremlins have been defeated. Okay, so we were right in the middle of intro, so we're just gonna go right back into that. So Amy Sue, why don't you tell us who you are and what mouse you're playing?
Hi, my name is Amy Sue. I am playing a mouse named Thimble today. A motherly type, gray, curly tail.
Perfect. And yeah, and Val just mentioned this in the chat, but we are aware that Amy Sue's captions aren't working. So the rest of us should have captions, but we will be short one caption because the cats and the rats are conspiring against us today. So for this stream, I personally am supporting Akron Children's Hospital, where several of my loved ones have received life-saving treatments. That's a place I hold near and dear to my heart. If you want to see how you can donate, you can type, I believe it's !ExtraLife in chat, and it'll give you the link so that you can donate to support the Children's Miracle Network. Val is also matching all of his sub points this month with $1. So if you got a Twitch Prime sub, use it here. Use it now. Check and see. You can click the little subscribe button and see if you have a Twitch Prime sub because it'll go to a good cause. I also have some incentives for donations today, which I'll mention really quickly. For $5, you can give one player a bonus. So just let us know which player you're giving that bonus to. For $10, you can give all the players a bonus. For $20, I will give the mice some treasure. And then for $50, you can move the encounter track forward, which basically means that things will happen sooner than they otherwise would. Sometimes this is neutral, sometimes this is quite bad. So, and maybe sometimes it's good. So if you want to make things a little spicier, you can do that. And then finally, if we hit $100 total during this stream, the mice will get to level up. So that doesn't mean one person has to donate $100. That just means if we get to $1,045 total, then we'll hit that. And we are just $55 short of our halfway goal, which this is kind of the halfway point of the marathon. So help us get there. Speaking of mice leveling up, we are about to play a game of Mausritter by Isaac Williams, which is a game of sword and whiskers role-playing. This adventure location we're exploring today is called Tower of Soot, and it's by Lazy Lich. I have my little thing here. So honestly, without further ado, let's get playing. There's a chill bite to the air on this November morning. The mice of Brickport were hard at work when you set off this morning, bringing nuts, berries, grass, and anything else they could harvest from outside before the first frost. Brickport is the largest mouse settlement of the estate by far, home to nearly 400 mice, many of them with problems only adventuring mice such as yourselves can solve. It was one of these mice, the widow of a wealthy Brickport merchant, who set you on your current quest. She has an urgent question to ask of her deceased husband, and the only person who can assist her, the legendary Necro Hamster, has been captured by a young human and is being kept in a cage inside the human's house. Rumors have spread that the humans are leaving for a trip and intend to take the Necro Hamster with them. The widow, Poppy Pepperpot, promised 2,000 pips to your group if she is able to ask her question of the Necro Hamster. So pips are the currency for you mice. And this is a hearty amount of money, even split 3 ways. So before we describe our characters, this adventuring location has a cool kind of mechanic that gets us right into the action. So at the start of the adventure, one of you will roll a d4 to determine basically how you get into the house. So I will ask you, do any of you feel as though you are particularly well prepared for this adventure? I love the honesty of no. What about pumpkin spite, Alex? It looks like you're deliberating.
I think that Pumpkin is a wee bit prepared just because she knows that she's been asked to do a thing, and so in a very Midwestern mom sense has like packed a bag or a bag and has and is like prepping to be like, oh, here we go. Got a lot of stuff just in case.
Perfect. Okay, so then I think in that case, Alex, go ahead and roll a d4, and you get to add +1 to this roll because you are prepared a little bit. And then I'll tell you what this means. I'll set the scene a little bit, and then we can have you describe your characters.
Well, I hope that this bodes well because that was a 4. So +1 is a
Oh,
5.
incredible. Yes, that bodes very well. That's the second best you could possibly do. So on a 5, this means that you all entering the bedroom where the necrohamster is kept, you ziplined in from a tree branch. So I think starting with Alex, since you rolled, do you want to describe what Pumpkin Spite looks like and how she ziplines into this open window of the human house?
Yep. So Pumpkin Spite is a small, round, gray mouse with like pink accents from the that where her cheeks and nose and stuff have been cold, and she's trying to keep warm. And she has a prehensile tail and a like underarm bag, and a little sweater uh over her shoulders. And I'm sure that she just looks up and she goes, "Oh, well. I I didn't imagine that this was going to be the way in, but here we go." And is going to just take her sweater off and throw it over the zip line and just like
Incredible.
go down. And it's just gonna you'll just hear all the way down the zip line this little ooh.
Amazing. Let's see. Pope, what does describe Winston Breyer and how he ziplines in?
I have been waiting since I've signed up for this. The Great Mouse Detective is my favorite Disney movie of all time.
Yes, co-signed.
And I like to picture this, that Winston is Basil's cousin.
Oh, love it.
A bit more wiry, went more with the magic as opposed to the technical side of things. Is a marbled gray mouse in full-on patchwork clothing. So bits and pieces of things that are found amongst mouse society and out in the field has just been sewn together in this like almost Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor dream coat of clothes, and is using his sword, which is still scabbard, holding onto the zip line, rappelling down. Has a lit bit of incense clenched in his teeth from good luck. As I'm just picturing that we like the impact zone is right there at the windowsill.
Yeah.
As he lets go, the feet hit. He tucks and rolls, and, and comes up, and then is now just fiddling with the sword and trying to get that back on his belt.
Incredible. Yeah, do you think the sword is like a mouse smithed sword, or do you think it's made out of something like that the humans have discarded?
I am picturing that this has been uh, something that has been repurposed. Like they found, I think they found one of like the heavy duty sewing needles.
Ooh,
and,
yeah.
and the community has essentially like that would have been like a great sword, and they split the thing in two.
Hmm.
So it has like a very excellent point and one sharp edge.
Yeah, I love that. And Amy Sue, that just leaves Thimble. What does Thimble look like? And how does she zipline into the human's house?
So Thimble is everything like a mother. She's very nurturing and she's very worried. So she's like panicking at all of this
Oh no.
adventuring. I think she just kind of got sucked into, let's go on an adventure and save this this friend of ours, so she doesn't have a whole lot. So I think she tries to follow Pope and like use her sword. And I think she's questioning it. She's just like, oh no, oh no. But she is solid gray. She has a very curly tail.
Hmm.
So I think everything she does to zip line in is very cautious. Um,
Yeah.
so she'll like carefully place herself up and then second guess herself a couple times before she lets herself go. And I think when she lands, she'll just be more surprised and shocked that she made it as opposed to like
Hmm.
happy.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, for her sword, I think it might be like a broken piece of an X-Acto knife or like a box
Ooh,
cutter or something.
yeah. I love
Um,
that.
yeah, and yeah, I don't think she looks ready for adventuring at all. She's just looks like a very out of place mouse.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so I think so all of you are level 1 as far as the game mechanics. So none of you are adventurers who have had a ton of like success or a lot under their belts right now. It sounds like perhaps Thimble, this is maybe her first her first adventure. Cool. What about Pumpkin and Winston? Do you think that this is like your first big day out? Do you think that you're like a little rambunctious? You've gone out and done things before, you just have not had a ton of experience? What's the vibe?
I think Pumpkin's had
Uh,
yeah, Pumpkin's had adventures, but not of this particular kind. Instead,
Hmm.
Pumpkin is used to going out for their job and is looking around at everybody and saying, "Oh, does everybody have what they need? Do you have everything? How are you doing?" Specifically looking over at Thimble and being like, "Oh, do you need something?" And then she's gonna pull out a tooth out of her bag and go, "Oh, hey, if you need something to hold on to, that's good luck. I you can have one of these teeth."
Oh, thank thank you. I don't know what to do with that. Okay.
Well, you could also get your own if you wanted to like be part like I if you want to like work and be your own boss. I have this little side hustle that we can talk about later.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, this is a tooth. Okay.
What about Winston? Has Winston adventured before?
uh, Winston has, in his mind, adventure. Um,
Mm.
Winston has been in a few pub fights and has managed to go all of 6 yards outside of the settlement.
Pretty good. Nothing to sniff at. Sneeze at? I don't know what that saying is.
Snuffle at this point. Uh,
Yeah.
but he just is fiddling at the windowsill with a little bit of incense to just try and have it as like a marker for where they can get out.
Yeah. So I think as Thimble kind of tumbles in, the last one to come in, and you're having this little conversation. Um, and Winston, as you're kind of like, looking around and like marking with your incense, you hear kind of like a creaking sound. And you can see that this window is being held open by like a piece of wood. It's like a window that doesn't quite open and shut correctly or stay open. And you can see that the wood it's not breaking, but it's starting to kind of shift a little bit. Maybe, with the zip lining in, something is bumped, there's a bit of a breeze. definitely too big for any of you to try to do something to stop this window from falling. You basically have enough time to get out of the way. I'll take a second to describe to you a little bit about your surroundings so you know kind of what your options are. I did manage to resize the image. So that's in the Discord. Sorry, chat, you don't get to see this. But what you see, kind of the main things that are of interest to you are there is a small table beside this fireplace and chimney that has a cage that you can see. Inside this cage is a little figure of some kind of small creature, presumably the necro hamster. At the foot of that table, there is a pile of some like firewood and sticks and tinder, that sort of thing. There is a mantle on the fireplace, and then you can see that it does kind of like go up and out of this room. And you are higher up, you're on the second floor of the building, so you presumably it goes up to the roof. But you all have just a little bit of time to kind of get out of the way or figure out where you're going next. What do you all do?
I think Pumpkin's gonna look around and go, "Oh, well, that could have ended very badly." Uh, but I do see the their little cage thing over there. I think that might be where we need to go.
Yeah, just be very careful. Like there could be anyone around. There could be things that could just pop out of nowhere. Can we just be very cautious, please?
My
There's
goodness.
spiders here.
Yeah. You definitely, I think all of you would know some of the dangers that exist, which are there's definitely spiders around. It's an old house. That's some creatures that you might run into pretty frequently. You've heard rumors, perhaps, that there are creatures that live in this chimney. You're not really that sure about them. The mice tend to try to stay away from them. But there are some kinds of creatures that people have said live here. Um, and then there's lots of other bugs as well that are not inherently dangerous, but the biggest issue with insects and bugs and those kinds of things, which I should say, content warning for people watching, there are going to be spiders and, and bugs and creatures and creepy crawlies that will definitely come up. So if that's something that freaks you out, maybe this is not the game for you to be watching. The biggest issue though with spiders, bugs, those types of creatures is that you don't share a language, or even you don't have the same anatomy to even approximate each other's languages. So there's magic that exists that can help you communicate across species. But there's also like a lot of misunderstanding. So maybe there could be a bug that's like doesn't have ill intentions towards you, but doesn't know that you don't have ill intentions toward them. So there's a lot of miscommunications there. Um, and I think as you're standing and like kind of talking about like, okay, here's what might be the dangers. There's that cage we want to see. You hear and see this piece of wood kind of slide to the side. The window shuts behind you. So you, which is very loud. This is like, you know, a landslide kind of sound coming down behind you, but you're on the mantle, you know, you're on the windowsill, so it does not harm you anyway. But that was your way out. So now you suspect that the only way that you'll be able to get out of this situation is by climbing out through the chimney.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you all do?
Okay, we're going to need to see what we can. If there's anything we can harvest from up here that we can possibly use to get down. Also, keep your eyes peeled for anything coming from above.
Oh,
Aren't you come from a bug?
aren't you industrious? Ah, well, let's see if we can find something. Like to do what Winston suggests and be very helpful and start looking for something to help us get down.
Yeah. So I'll say you guys can take so basically I mentioned this a little bit before the stream, but time is measured in turns as far as exploration, which a turn is roughly 10 minutes. It's enough time for like all of you to do one or two things. You can split up and do separate things. And at the end of every turn, something will happen that, kind of progresses things forward. So if you want to take this is not a huge space. I think if all of you want to work together to try to find something to get down from here, I don't think it'll take your whole turn to do that since the three of you are doing it. I think you would definitely notice that this piece of wood, the way that it kind of slid out from the window. So I think it's kind of teetering on the edge of the windowsill. And is a pretty tall piece of wood because it was keeping the window open. So you could try to do something with that to try to like push it into a place that you want, or use that as some kind of slide. Let me see what else would be on this windowsill. I think there's also one of those little I don't even know what they're called, but those little things that like you put in windowsills that have the light sensor and they like bobble. I guess they're kind of like bobbleheads, but like specifically activated by light. There's a little one of those in this windowsill that is like a little frog that it's like bobbing its head. It's probably a little bit bigger than the tallest of you. So it's, about your size, maybe a little bit bigger.
I'm just gonna run over to the frog and be like, "Oh, look, isn't this so cute? Look at him. Oh, you fit in so well back at my house."
You could try to take the frog with you. It would take up your entire inventory, I think. Oh, I also forgot. I completely forgot. So you can see there's a blank spot on the overlay because Katie wasn't able to be here today, but they did have a beetle companion. And so I made the executive decision that the beetle companion was still going to be here, kind of in Katie's stead. So I think kind of like climbing out, maybe there's like a little tiny space under the window crack, and this dung beetle named Margarine kind of like squeezes from under the window, and is kind of looking around, eager to assist, carry things if need be. But you do have a little beetle companion.
I'm gonna take out one of my rations and just go, "Oh, hey there, little fella. Come here. Come
Yeah.
here."
Comes over and starts eating whatever it is that you've offered them.
You're like, "I wonder
Does
if this
the
fella can help us."
does the window have any curtains?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think it would have curtains. That would be another way down.
Should we climb down the curtains to get down there? Is that something we should do? We just have to be careful, guys.
I have an idea for a quicker way. In a way, might be safer. I'm going to need the wire that's in that frog's head.
Oh
And
dear.
I'm going to need to cut this curtain.
Yeah, what's Winston doing? What's the plan?
Again, his cousin's the more industrious one, but he's picked up a few things.
Mhm.
He's going to try and make a large parachute.
Incredible. Are the other two of you helping with this parachute, or are you devising your own ways of getting down?
Um,
I think Thimble would be helping, but she's
Mhm.
just going to climb down the curtain when it comes to But she's like, "Oh, I just want to make sure he's building it safe so that he doesn't hurt himself. So I'll just assist him."
Yeah, perfect. What about Pumpkin?
I think Pumpkin is also gonna help open the frog and get you what you need, but is probably gonna also climb down and just be like, "You're so brave. Look at you. Look at you."
Incredible. Um Does Winston have any kind of like, is this something Winston's made before or anything similar to this, or is this purely like, I have this idea, surely I can make this work?
This is partly more just um Winston comes from like a family of scroungers,
Hmm.
and this is more along the lines of, okay, so so Jimmy made one of these one time when I was real little, and I can most definitely do whatever Jimmy's done.
We all have a cousin Jimmy.
Amazing. Okay, I think then, I don't think this is a for sure thing, and I don't think you have any items
Oh
with
no.
you that would really help with this. So I think this is going to be a roll.
Yes.
Um, but it is just going to be one roll to build it and use it. So it'll just
Okay.
be kind of like this is how it goes. I will give you advantage because you do have two mice helping you build this thing. So you've got, some oversight. None of you are particularly, I think, experienced at this. And I'm trying to decide. I think this is a dex roll.
Okay.
So you'll roll two d20s and you'll take the lower of the two because you're trying
Oh,
to get
awesome.
equal to or under two, or equal to or under your dex
Yes.
stat.
Okay, well that was good. That was less good. So I got a 2 and my
Oh,
dex
perfect.
is 11.
Perfect. So I will I don't think I'm gonna make the other two mice roll to just climb down the curtain. Because I don't think it's especially strenuous and it's not super far down. So, so as the other two of you are just climbing down the curtain. Um Winston, I will, which with such a success, I will cede the narrative over to you. What does this look like as Winston Breyer succeeds at making a parachute and landing safely?
Um, if you will indulge me, like how much wire was in that frog's head?
As much as you need, I think. I don't know. It's up to you.
I have an idea to make this both better and worse. Uh,
Perfect. I love that.
this is not anything quite so easily disassembled. Um,
Mm,
as
yeah.
instead of it being a parachute, it's more of a hang glider.
Oh, yes. Love it.
And like I love the idea that he is hooked up this hang glider to margarine
Oh, yeah.
and going, okay, we can do this. Giddy up. And riding margarine, flying off the edge
Mhm.
of this windowsill and paragliding down.
Yeah. Um, do you have a spot that you want to land? Because I think with such a success, you can land. I mean, I don't think you could land like up the chimney, but like if you
No,
wanted to land on that little table where the cage is, or if there was a specific place near the
I
chimney that you wanted to land, you certainly could.
I would love to, because what are we doing if not putting ourselves in peril?
Hmm.
Um, I I would love to land on the fireplace mantle right next to this thing called Soot Kingdom's Outpost.
Yeah. Cool. So okay, so here's what I think happens because this is also we've hit our first turn. That was like, but all of you had time to do a couple of things. You built this hang glider. So I think the reason why partially this hang glider works so well is because as you take off on on margarine, a gust of wind comes down the chimney, and kind of picks up your hang glider a little bit, so you're able to kind of go up onto the mantle. But those of you who are down on the ground, who have climbed down the curtains, can see that now. This ash pile down at the bottom of the chimney comes alive with some burning embers. So for anyone who is making their way through that ash pile or searching through that ash pile for something, it will be more perilous because you could potentially take the burned condition if you don't succeed on what you're trying to do. I will also say, I think this is a good time for me to say this, these mice can die. So people watching, I've talked to all the players, we're all on board with this. Character creation in this game is very quick, but this game can be lethal, so these mice can die if that's something that's distressing to you. Again, this maybe maybe not something that you want to be watching. But if if you love that, if you love mice in peril, then this is for you. So I'll say that the two of you who climbed down the curtains, do you have where you couldn't end up like on top of anything, but if there's places like if you want to be kind of by the wood pile or by like the foot of the cage, the table the cage is on, if you want to be close to the ash pile at the base of the chimney, where are you going?
I would imagine that as Pumpkin gets to the floor and just sort of makes her way over towards the table, sees the wood pile, and just kind of glances in there real quick before beginning to try and climb the table to get to the cage, knowing that that's her destination.
Yeah.
But like just
When you
making sure nothing's gonna kill it.
Yeah, when you glance into the wood pile, you do hear a little bit of a skittering sound, as though there's something in the wood pile. But nothing jumps out to attack you. You just hear some movement.
Yeah,
I
Thimble
think,
will come up with you and like, should we start climbing the wood pile? Will that get us higher, or should we just try and climb the leg of the table?
well, I think that probably the leg of the table's the way to go. I think I hear something in that wood pile though. Hello, hello there. Hi, hi, how are you? And just trying to get the attention of whatever's skittering.
What if it's
Everyone.
another friend that needs saved?
Oh yeah, exactly. Hey, do you need any help there?
I think Pumpkin, give me a will saving throw as you are
All right.
attempting to communicate with something which does not share a language with you. So we'll see how this
Oh, that's
goes.
right. So for
So you'll
rolling
roll
this,
a yeah, you'll roll a d20, and you want it
okay.
to be equal to or lower than your will stat. Ooh, which is not not I forgot about Pumpkin Spite's stats.
Oh, but I did. I rolled a 4.
Incredible. So you have this very friendly demeanor, and you're saying things obviously that are not aggressive, but also your body language, and I'll say also Thimble kind of like peeking over the shoulder. Both of you don't seem aggressive. You don't have your weapons drawn or anything like that. So as you are talking, you are hearing like kind of more of this like kind of skittering. There's like some shifting in the wood pile, and very timidly, a centipede peeks its head out at you, and is kind of like looks like it's kind of like almost snake like, kind of swaying a little bit like up, kind of the legs kind of going, but does not go to attack. And I will say with such a success, you're not able to directly communicate, like I said, because you don't have, it's difficult. It's very difficult to directly communicate. But neither of you seem immediately aggressive, so you can try to communicate a little more, and I'll say that this creature kind of does the little like head tilt, kind of like dog like, when dogs are like listening to you, and its eyes seem kind of like sad and beseeching as it looks at you.
Yeah, Pumpkin's immediately gonna go into, well, hey there, friend. It's nice to see you there. Yeah, have you ever heard of the our favorite have you ever heard of this kind of like part-time work that we've been doing over with the bats? Uh, you could call it A lot of people call it batshit crazy. However, I think it's a very smart idea. If you haven't quite heard of it yet, like what we doing is going to start going into the entire spiel. And it's just going to be watching the centipede, not really like caring what the response is, but it's just going to keep talking and do the Midwestern goodbye kind of thing. So
The centipede, as you're talking, kind of retreats back and looks a little haughty, I would say. Is like a little bit like, I don't have time for this. Like, this is kind of beneath me, this conversation, and starts to withdraw back into the woodpile.
I'm just going to be like,
Meanwhile, Thimble's behind you, just like totally listening to everything you're saying. Be like, oh, I didn't know that. This is amazing. Why haven't I heard of this before?
I'm, I'm just gonna like leave a piece of my rations on the pile with a business card. That's
Yeah.
for you know, and it's got this fun font, almost Wingdings-esque that's going like go baddie. And I'm just gonna leave it there and be like, okay, well you have a good day now. And then I'm just gonna be like, that poor dear. I don't think he understood a word I was saying. And
Incredible.
I'm just as we start climbing the table, I'm gonna
Mhm.
also be talking to Symbol in the back and just being like, and just so you know, you could join this thing and be your own boss. And the guano that we sell is actually quite nice. It'll actually give you some really good crops in the event. And I've heard that it does amazing things for your skin too. And if you get up to a certain level, and like I'm giving the elevator pitch as we go up.
Yeah. And Thimble's just like, man, everything I've always done is just have babies. I've just had babies and then more babies and then more babies. They just always come. There's just so many babies. I didn't
It,
know there was something else I could do.
There is. And you know what? You can be your own boss. So you know you could keep having the babies and you could do this in your spare time. It's a wonderful gig, really.
I think we hear that conversation kind of like, as we cut over. We can still kind of hear it going on a little bit in the distance as we cut back in with Winston. So you have landed your contraption up on the mantelpiece right below this little spot that on the map is labeled the Haunted Soot Mine. And you hear kind of like coming through this little alcove above you, a cold wind whistling and faint echoes of voices. You're also on this mantelpiece, which is pretty covered in soot. It's not the cleanliest place. There's a big candle, like a human-sized candle, on the mantelpiece as well. Some little bric-a-brac. I think looking down, you can also see that there's some like some of the soot in the chimney has kind of been formed into these stairs going up, although you do have to cross to use the stairs. You do have to cross this ash pile that has some embers, so not that's a little bit perilous. But what is Winston doing?
Unhooking Margarine from the hang glider,
Mhm.
um, going, I understand that this wasn't necessarily the safest way down, but um, it worked.
Mhm.
But now, Margarine, it looks like our team members are significantly further away from us.
Yeah, Margarine peers over the edge of the mantle to see the other mice climbing up the the table.
And that's not the best thing. Um, but we have hope. Um, as he's going to like take some of the loose fabric, not much, um, from the hang glider. Um, Let us not pay attention to the incredibly creepy noises coming from above us.
It is creepy.
And let's see if we cannot find more things to scrounge towards the edge of the mantle, towards that cage, which I am certain is where our prisoner who needs to be freed lies.
Yes, I think especially from this vantage point now, you can see into this huge gilded prison, and can see sitting amongst very what is the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. Settled amongst some wood, like wood scrapings and things. Yeah, like the kind of stuff
Wood
that you have
chips
in
and
wood
wood
chips. Yeah.
shavings.
Yes, wood shavings. This hamster, very round hamster, kind of ghostly white coloring in these this like dark robe, just kind of sitting in the middle of all of these wood shavings in this cage, looking very put upon. I think as she's sitting there, kind of like, I think she kind of has her hands, like her tummy's out a little bit and she has her hands kind of resting on them, waiting to be rescued, to be honest.
Yeah, the cure is definitely plague somewhere.
Yeah.
And yes, just like I can just see both Margarine and Winston just peering over the side of the mantle. So we need to get down there. That's not easy. Um, I'm certain you can get there.
They nod.
Me, however, this is okay. I have another idea.
Mm.
This is not in any way wise, but it is a way to get down.
Oh no.
So I am going to tie essentially this rope to you, Margarine. And I want you to get over to the cage
Mm.
and hold on to the cage. I will keep the other end of the rope and find something to attach it to up here. And then I'm going to zip line again.
Amazing. Yeah, this is not so like for the way things are set up, this is not the most reckless thing in the world. Like especially because the table and the cage are, there's a gap between them and the mantle that you're on, but it's not like enormous. It's not huge. So this could definitely work. I think especially with Margarine, who you kind of can like tie kind of around their around their thorax, I guess.
I don't think he wants to like partially like imperil their thorax that much. It's more along the lines of one of the mandibles. There's that tie, considering their bite force is significant.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just like, okay. Now we need to find something to tie the other end to.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the way that we'll do this, so for the mice that are climbing up the table, because we'll have this kind of happening consecutively, or not consecutively, simultaneously. To Thimble and Pumpkin, do either of you have equipment that you're using that is making this climb easier? I can't remember what equipment you have, so it might be no.
I mean, I have something that could work.
You have wooden spikes. Is that what you're thinking
Yeah.
of?
Nope. I was thinking of a bag of teeth.
Oh. Okay, Okay. I mean, you can use whatever you want. I think the wooden spikes are intended partially for climbing, if I remember
Oh, okay.
correctly.
Okay.
But I
That's
don't want to tell
not
you what I don't want to
that
tell you
was
what to
not
do.
why I grabbed them, but I may
Listen,
have
if you
grabbed the wooden spikes because vampires are a very real thing to worry about when
yes.
you're part of this bat cult.
Yeah, 100%. Um well, far be it from me to tell you what to do. So use the teeth if
Yeah.
you want.
Do I
uh
have a number of uses for the teeth and the spikes and all that?
Yes. So basically the way that it works is if you're using an item, it's kind of like to my discretion if I feel like you're using it in a way that could use a use, or sometimes it'll be a roll. So I think if you're using honestly either the bag of teeth or the wooden spikes, I would say that it's probably one usage,
Got
but
it.
I will say won't have to roll to try to climb up. And if you wanted to use it for like if you wanted you and Thimble to be able to use them, I would probably have you roll to see if it takes up 2 usages or just 1.
All right. In that case, let's use the wooden spikes and let's go for 2.
Cool. So I will say then, I'll have Pumpkin roll this. And I think this is, do I want this to be Dex or Strength? I think it is Strength.
Okay.
Because you're trying to kind of drive these wooden spikes into the wood of the table without like breaking them off, like making sure they're in there enough for both of you to be able to use. So you have to get a 5 or lower on
I
this
do
roll.
have a hammer if that helps.
Oh, that does
Ooh.
help. Okay, I'll give you advantage then,
Ooh.
Pumpkin. So you can roll 2 and take the lower number since you have a hammer to help you
Yes.
drive these spikes in.
Thank you, because the first one was a 16 and the second one was a 1.
Perfect. Cool. So I won't say the hammer takes any usage. This is like pretty standard what a hammer is for. And like you're not hammering anything that's like true really wild. You're hammering wood into wood. Definitely not going to harm the hammer. And the wooden spikes, I will say it does take 1 usage of the wooden spikes just because I think some of them, like it's since 2 of you are climbing up, it's like, do you want to pull them out behind you? Some certainly would fall, some would be too damaged. So you'll have 1 usage or 1 expended use of them, but you have 3 for every item. So you have 2 more usages for these wooden spikes. And you can either mark that on the sheet, or I think they're in the items and conditions cards. There's like a little red dot that you can copy and paste to keep track of usage. So yes, Thimble and Pumpkin with the hammer and the spikes, you're able to just, mountain climb yourselves up to the top of this table. Winston, I don't think I'm not gonna have you roll to see if you can find something to tie your fabric to, because I don't think that's particularly difficult. I think you could even you could even the candle that's on the mantelpiece piece is probably heavy enough to take your weight. You would just need to like move it over, or you could find like maybe there's like a nail that's in the mantelpiece that was like a piece of like decoration was hung on it at some point. Yeah, you can definitely find something.
I love the idea that the Christmas wire hooks that
Yeah.
for everything,
Yeah.
especially 70s 80s, like one's
Mm.
just like still there
Yes.
and finds like again a splinter in the mantelpiece where he just sort of like wedges this in,
Yeah. I love
then
that.
ties off the very cobbled together rope.
Yeah.
Then
It's definitely gonna be a roll.
this
I
feels
think
like
it's
Dex or
I think
Strength.
it's Dex. Yeah, I think it
Okay.
is Dex.
Right, here goes nothing.
Oh, I can't tell if that's good or bad.
So, OGM, tell me, is this meat or beat?
Oh,
'Cause,
it is.
I rolled an 11. My dex is 11.
That succeeds. You just succeed. So I think since it's a just success, let me spice this up for you a little bit. So you like get this tied off. Margarine is able to get over to the table pretty easily, and I think probably just can kind of tie their end to like the cage itself. That's pretty easy. So the ties are secure. You go to like use your sword to slide down. The thing I think that is unfortunate is when you ziplined in here, it was like a piece of wire or something. It was like a piece of
Yes.
metal that was set up. This is fabric. So your sword, only one side of it is sharp. But that side does kind of start to shred this fabric as you're going down. So it starts off as you ziplining down, and then towards the end of it, it's kind of a tumble and a grab and getting tangled up in this rope. You land successfully, you don't take any damage, but it is really, really a narrow success.
Any landing you could walk away from.
Yeah. So I think Thimble and Pumpkin like get up to the top, and then immediately you're like tumbling at their feet on the side of this cage. The necro hamster kind of turns her attention to the four of you, I guess, with Margarine. Does not look super impressed by Winston. As a little bit of a like, so, I suppose you're here to get me out of this predicament.
Well,
Yes.
hey there. Yeah, yes, we are. So yeah, we're gonna just have you out of here in a jiffy. You know, my cousin once had one of these things, and then I'm gonna like pull over, Pope and be like, hey, you know how to do some of these things, but you know, my cousin Jimmy one time, I think we have the same cousin Jimmy now that I think about it. And just keeps talking.
Is
um,
there like a lock or like what kind of mechanism is it that's locking this cage?
yes, there is a door with a lock. It has like a little, it is like a lock with a key. The key's not in it, but it is like one that would take a key. And there also
Child
are
has
some bars.
this child like literally has his hamster in lockup. Like this is
Yeah,
intense for a
yeah.
Well,
creature without opposable thumbs.
Uh-huh.
now this may inform more about me and my proclivities than I necessarily want on stream. Hi, FBI. So this lock you say that takes a key.
Uh-huh.
How many pins?
uh I don't know off the top of my head. I will say you can pick it. There is like a little note here on this thing. It would take it is a big lock. And it would take 2 mice to do it. So two of you
Okay.
would have to devote your time to it. And
So
I think it would be a roll unless you have an item or something that you think would help you with this.
so this sounds like an actual like proper block with at least 4 pins, which means we need something to push the pins into position, as well as something that will lock the pins above the shear line. Um, Good news is I can use my sword as a torsion tool, but we need to find something, or the one of us with the longest arms and absolutely no common sense gets to reach in and try and push things up.
Yeah.
So this is the moment where Thimble's like, hi, I know it seems like I was just kind of thrown in this adventure. I got thrown in this adventure because when I'm not having babies, I'm a blacksmith. Um,
Oh,
so I do have a hammer and a metal file. Um, could that be useful? I could help you pick this
uh,
lock.
the file's fantastic. Actually, we could use the file, the sword, and your hammer to get better access to the lock. We can probably easily shear away the face of this and then make it so that we just have to press up the pins. and then it'll be fine, as opposed to doing guesswork.
Here's what I'll say. I'll give you all a choice. If you want to, all three of you work together and take your time to do this. It'll take an entire turn for the three of you to kind of get this lock unlocked, but I won't have you roll anything to see if you succeed or not. And I think if you take your time, I also will only require a roll to see if the sword takes any damage. I think everything else is built for this, so the file wouldn't. The sword, maybe if if you bend it a little bit the wrong way, it might get a little bit damaged. Or if you want to try to not take an entire turn to do this, if you want to try to do this without having another event happen, I will say that I think this makes sense honestly for, even though it was Winston's idea, I think it makes sense for Thimble as the blacksmith to roll for this, having like some expertise with the tools. I would say Thimble could roll a strength save to see if you can do this more quickly. Then the thing would just be like, potentially you could damage your tools could be one outcome. You could take an exhausted condition, on a failure, something might happen because you're trying to do it so quickly. So what do you all want to do? Do you want to take some time to do this, or do you want to try to do it fast with a little bit more risk?
I mean, a little bit more risk seems fun.
I mean, you're the one that's going to be rolling, so.
Cool.
You know what? Thimble's gonna be like, I am my own boss. I am my own boss.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Incredible. Okay, so Thimble, go ahead and roll a strength save. So you want to get equal to or under 10. It is just going to be one dice. And we'll see how it goes.
So that's a 17.
Okay, so you still succeed in what you're trying to do. So this is not a like, do you get this done or don't you get this done? There's just some negative side effects. So I think, unfortunately, your metal file and your hammer are both going to take a usage dot, because it's just, you're trying to work together really quickly. The three of you maybe haven't adventured together before, it sounds like. So maybe there's some some miscommunication. There's especially Thimble, you have like some knowledge of this. So you might be like saying like, oh, do this thing, and like accidentally using a term that like the other two don't know, that sort of thing. And I think as well, I will say, Winston, roll me a d6. This will determine if your sword has any usage marks. I think if it's you get a 1, 2, or 3, then you'll mark a usage slot.
I got a 1, so we'll mark a usage.
Okay, so all of your tools are a little worse for wear after this. And yeah, I think I don't think I'll also have you take an exhausted condition. That seems a little rough. So all your tools are a little worse for wear. But eventually the lock does click open, fall off, and you're able to get the Necker hamster out. Again, she does not look particularly impressed, as the three of you have been fumbling a little bit. Kind of has her arms crossed, and says, well, I saw that the way that you came in is no longer a viable solution to exit, so I suppose about the chimney we'll have to go.
Yeah, that looks like the way that we're all gonna be going. And by this time has explained the entire business model, and is just gonna like take a card and see that she's not gonna take it and just like tucks it in to her arms. And yeah, it's gonna say like, okay, so how did you wind up getting down here, Winston? That might be our way out. Yeah.
That is fabric and not wire, and I've got good knees. Looks over at the necro hamster, and I think that's a requisite. Um,
Oh, well, you didn't have to say it out loud like that, dear. I'm
uh,
sure he didn't mean
but
nothing by it.
but I have another idea.
Oh, see, he's good at these, and I'm just gonna keep like having this conversation with the necromancer. He's
Yeah.
We
very
just
good at
need to
this.
push this cage off this table.
So,
She
so
she does not
dear,
look impressed.
so dear, I know that you have got some wonderful ideas here. However, wouldn't that make a lot of noise? And wouldn't we then be getting the attention of the folks who live here?
Oh, right.
Because
Hmm.
I don't know about you, but I don't want to go in back into the cage. I'd like to leave.
Okay. Okay. I hear what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Well, the next best thing in that case is probably get the door off its hinges. Okay. That's a good bit of wire. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Um so I'm pretty good at throwing javelins. So if we can just fashion one from the wire, I see that the mantle definitely has a spot that looks good to anchor this. Um, and Martrigan can easily get across and snip that end of the rope. And can throw the javelin, have an impact tied with the rope, and we'll have at least a rope to climb with the pitons that you guys still have. And that should help our guest uh, get up at least to the mantelpiece.
You know, I got an idea here for you though. Like, let's
Mhm.
just hear me out. So, if we all stood on each other, do you think that we could make a mouse bridge from the top of this here cage over to that mantle?
There is one hamster size issue with that.
Right, right. Well, I'm wondering if we did that, then, we could take the rope over, and then like she could use that. We could just like pull her.
I think
That
she chimes in a little bit and says, not to rain on your parade, so to speak, but have you considered that if we go to the mantelpiece, then we will have to cross through the haunted soot mine? Whereas if we go all the way down to the base, then we can just go up the ashen stairs and make our way to the top.
the
Not have to
That
deal
ashen
with any
might.
stairs
ghosts.
do not look like they are secure, and at the bottom there are both insects and embers.
She kind of like goes like this and says, it's your choice whether you'd rather deal with ghosts or insects. I know which I would choose, but I'll cede to your wisdom.
Um, I think I can scare the ghosts.
Yeah,
I
like
she
don't
that's
think I can
certainly a
scare the
talent.
bugs.
Oh no,
Sh-
they're quite friendly. I've already made friends with one of them.
I mean, we could try and make friends with the ghosts.
the necrohamster looks
They're
skeptical.
friendly. Um, though I mean, you do have necro as part of your title. Like, are you able to make friends with ghosts? I mean, you're
Oh,
supposed to
I
be
can't.
talking with the dead.
I can't make friends with them. I can try to frighten them off or control them, but it's difficult to be friends with vengeful spirits.
Well, I think
I
that's
want to
just your
see you.
outlook, hon. That's just your outlook.
I want to see you control them. Can we do that?
She like nods, very certain of her own skill.
Okay, so we can control the ghosts in the haunted set mine.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, would you mind seeing if you could reach the ledge from the top of this here cage? I'm just looking at the necro hamster.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because if you can do that, then we can all get over and then we can help you across and then we don't have to dismantle this cage and maybe it'll be
Yeah,
a little bit faster.
yeah, she kind of climbs up. The cage is not difficult to climb since it has like these bars and things and it's not super tall. So she climbs up to the top and I think like extends like her little arms out and like goes on her little tippy toes. And I think can just like the tips of her fingers. She's a little bit taller than you all, a little bit bigger than you all. The tips of her fingers can touch the the very edge of the mantelpiece from the top of the cage. And she's like straining a little bit and she says, well, now that I'm in this position, I find it's a bit difficult to get out of it, so perhaps you should want to climb me.
Yeah, and Margarine, you hurry over there.
Yeah.
Maybe get ready to help us pull the necro hamster onto the mantle.
I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
Margarine does that.
go over and be like, "Whoops, sorry, just squeezing past you there."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this takes a roll from any of you. I do think it takes a roll from the necro hamster. And her strength is not the best.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we are on the side with the rope, so couldn't we help and like
Yes, if
get her
if
to
this
hold the rope?
goes yeah, if this goes poorly, I think there are some things that you can do to mitigate,
Okay.
but I'll first just see if she's strong enough to do this. Oh, okay. So her strength is 6. She did roll a 3. So,
Yay.
I think kind of digs her little, hamster claws into the mantelpiece. And I think it is kind of just grinning and bearing it as as all of you kind of climb up her to get to the mantelpiece. And then I think between all of you, it wouldn't be a roll or anything for all of you to like pull her up after you. She's a little bit bigger than you. She's not that much bigger than you. So you can pull her up. This I do think will move the timetable up with that being done and also the conversation. So as you are all up on the mantelpiece, you hear from I think inside the chimney. Oh, maybe it's not.
Dear.
I think it's out. I think it's out. I think it's above you. Yes, it's above you. Sorry, I was looking at this map and I was like, am I seeing through the bricks or is this on the outside of the bricks? I think it's on the outside of the bricks. Can hear the sounds of trumpets and cheering from like kind of high above you. Which is kind of faint because also from this little haunted soot mine entrance, you can hear, as Winston already heard, a cold wind whistling and faint echoes of voices from this haunted soot mine. What do you all want to do?
Okay, so we've made it across from cage to the mantle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing from the outpost to there's this chain bridge.
Yes. Yeah, so you could go to the outpost and climb up through it to get to the chain bridge, or you could go through the haunted soot mine, up to you.
I'd rather try the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you mention it, if we don't have to go through the haunted mines of Moria or whatever up there. Sorry, JK. Or no, not that one. Sorry, JR. I was joking. Gosh. But we can just go up that tower there. I'm sure that there'll be nice fellas who just let us go right on past it. Because I'd much rather deal with the living than the dead.
Also, I should say I misspoke. The sounds of trumpets and cheering are actually not coming from above you. They're coming from that outpost. I
Oh,
was reading the map wrong. So you do hear like sounds of like people and things like that in there.
Sounds like a
well,
party.
let's go say hi, maybe trade.
Yeah. So you head over to this outpost, which is made of soot. And it is like similar to these stairs, a little bit crumbly. Like again, made of soot, not the most structurally sound thing in the world. And as you enter, you see that this outpost is filled with these little creatures. They almost look like lumps of coal with arms and legs. All of them are like their eyes are kind of glowing with an ember-like glow. They have a little bit of like a flame to them. This outpost is crowded with them. There are so many, just on top of each other. Like I think you can kind of like get in the door, and then they're kind of like all around you. And you can see that they're all cheering. And there's one of them kind of being held up by some of the others, who has a robe, and kind of a beard made of fire, but looks kind of sulky, is kind of like being hoisted up by them, but like kind of has a bit of a frown, doesn't look super happy. And
I'm gonna nudge the hamster and be like, "Oh, I think you two could be friends."
yeah, both a little grumpy. Um, and I think let me hang on. They have a let me see what their disposition is towards you all entering, which I think is just a roll from me to see how they are thinking of you. Um da, 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 da. I thought there was a default one in here, but I don't think there is. So, um
If it gives us advantage, Pumpkin is definitely knocking and going, "Oh, hey there, anybody home?"
yeah, the super like crowded area. Yeah, let me find the page that this is on. Reactions. Okay, so I roll 2d6 to see how they react to you. Okay, so yeah, you come in, you kind of knock, a little bit of the soot crumbles as you like knock. And it is like that moment in a movie where it's like record scratch and everyone, like this raucous kind of room, all turns to look to you. They aren't speaking a language you understand. Like it's kind of sounds like the flickering of flames, like a kind of crackly kind of language. But everyone goes completely silent when you enter.
So, hey there. We just wanted to like PS right through and go over your little bridge. And I'm just gonna like make a lot of gestures and then be
Yeah.
like, don't want to be any trouble. We just want to, if you just let us go past, uh, we'll be on our way just in a jiff.
As you are talking, the necro hamster pulls out from her cloak a little piece of rock, which I think a couple of you would recognize as a spell. Like she has a little spell with her, since two of you also have spells. And she is how big does she want to go on this? Let's do she'll use 2 dice on this. Okay, and I think 4, 5, or 6 mark 1 usage. Okay, so she does use 2 usages of the spell. But she kind of like holds this little stone, and as you are speaking, Pumpkin, you notice that the creature that is like kind of being held up by the others kind of like gets like a quizzical look, They don't have too much of a face. It's mostly the eyes, but the eyes kind of, it's like Spider-Man, you know, like how like his eyes kind of get bigger and smaller, that kind of thing. That's like kind of how the embers are. So at first they're like big and wide and then kind of get smaller and then kind of open back up. And the necro hamster leans over and says, that one, and points to like another creature, will be able to understand you for about 20 minutes. So as
Oh,
you're
well,
talking,
that's
it seems like those two
wonderful.
specifically can understand you, although you unfortunately can't understand them. It only goes one way.
Still gonna try again, but
Yeah.
it's gonna also speak more slowly and just be
Mhm.
like, we want to use your bridge. Oh, I'm sorry, my southern accent's coming through on that one.
Yeah. I think they like the one that's being held up by the others nods, like understanding what you're saying. Um and I'm trying to see. There's a piece of information that I think is on this. Um I think like kind of nods and then points up in the direction towards like where the bridge leads to, basically like where the chain bridge goes to, which is another structure that looks more like more castle-y than this one. This one looks more kind of more like a tower. Points up there and then makes a sound that's kind of like ooh, and then kind of makes a like this kind of gesture.
Oh, I don't like that. Are you talking about where the castle is? Is that what's there?
Nods.
Okay. I'm gonna look at everybody and say, okay, so the castle's haunted. So it looks like we're gonna be dealing with ghosts one way or the other. Um,
Eh, it, it's on the way out.
it's true. It's true. We're gonna have to deal with them one way or another. I'm just gonna look back and be like, yeah, it's okay. Everybody's got a little bit of haunting. And
Yeah.
then gonna
I
look
think
at everybody else and be like, okay, let's go ahead and get up the stairs. I'm just gonna keep talking to the
yeah. I think this one I think one of the ones kind of near you is the other one that the necrohamster cast the spell on, and kind of puts a hand out to stop you, and then points back towards the one who was gesturing, and the one that's being kind of held up, which I think you can tell kind of now by the way that they're dressed as like a king or royalty of some sort, although notably not wearing a crown. And that one kind of points to you, points to where like the castle is, and then makes this like gesture again.
okay. So I feel like you're being very negative here. But uh I think that they think that we're gonna die if we
Uh,
go into this here castle.
They start shaking their head.
I I have an idea. Um, give me just a second. I'll be right back. I think we
Okay.
can bargain. Um, I slip out the door. I go to where the anchor was for my rope.
Mhm.
I grab that. I use my mousy strength, and I try and form like a little like primitive crown for the guy they're
Oh,
holding aloft.
interesting. Interesting. Ooh, okay. I don't think it's a roll to make the crown. I do think it'll be, I'll have you roll a will roll to
Okay.
see how this goes over. Because you're intending to like offer the crown to
Yeah.
this king in exchange for like going up.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead and make a will save.
Okay. Haha! 4.
Perfect. So you come back in, you have describe a little bit about what this crown looks like, what you've managed to
Uh,
fashion.
it again. Picture a 3-year-old drawing a crown, but this time it's made out of Christmas wire. Um, so
Yeah.
it has those distinctive, like, very like right angle, perpendicular triangle angles,
Yeah.
crenellations, and it just made a wire, and it's like, huh, huh, ah.
Yeah. So I think there is this moment where the king looks, or the king to be looks not super impressed with this crown, like as you bring it in. Um, but the people start cheering and the trumpets start going off again, and there's this celebration. And it's kind of as though like the king kind of like is carried by like everyone else being so excited that you've come up with this solution. I think you also spot like on the wall of this place like a little portrait that shows the king with his crown, which is resplendent. Like it kind of like the original crown is missing, and the thing that you've made really does not measure up. But with the successful roll, the people are like, "We'll take it." You know, this is a crown's a crown. So I think kind of like take the crown from you and kind of pass it from person to person over to the king. And the like looks like they're getting in place for some kind of like ceremony. And as they are kind of making this way, there's space for the five of you to go up to where the chain is. And I think that's a good place for us to take our break. So we're gonna take a little bit of a break, and when we come back, we will be back with the rest of this adventure. So we'll see you all in a little bit. Bye. Hello, we are back with the second half of Tower of Sit, our Mausritter adventure. And if you missed our little beginning of the stream, also you can type !extra life in chat to donate. We do have some donation incentives. You can help these mice, you can hinder these mice. And if we get to $100 donations during the stream, they'll get to level up. So you'll really get to help them a lot. We did get $5 from Pope, who gave a bonus to Pumpkin Spite. So Pumpkin will have an advantage that she can choose to use. And anyone else who donates $5, that's the same thing. If you donate $10, it is everyone gets advantage, and then Nightbot will explain the incentives more as we go. But basically, you can help people, you can hinder them. What happened so far is our mice got into the bedroom of one of these humans who had kidnapped the necro hamster and put her in a cage. But you all managed to get her out and are now climbing the inside of the chimney to escape from the human house. And actually, as we come back in, I'm going to go ahead and move up our timetable of events. So the next thing happens, which as you are climbing this chain bridge from the outpost to the castle Soot proper, there's like you hear some like in the distance, not in this room, some doors slamming. It seems like the humans are up and about. And down below you, you can see the soot stairs that Winston had kind of warned about not being the most structurally sound start to collapse down below you. And even like the castle and the outpost, some of the soot kind of crumbles off of them. As you entered the outpost, it was kind of like the entrance was through a crack to get like from the mantelpiece into like the actual inside of the chimney. So as you are crossing this chain bridge, you are now inside the chimney and can see down below you the glowing embers of the fire. So if you were to fall from here, it would not be good. But there's no roll required or anything to get across this chain bridge. You do see some a single soot soldier standing guard across this bridge, but who lets you pass, having heard like the cheers and like saw that you exited from the from the outpost, having given the king to be a crown of a sort. So that's where we're at as you enter into or as you approach Castle Soot, which is silent and black, and there's a bit of a green glow from within the castle. And you've been warned that there are ghosts here. So what do you all want to do?
I'm probably trailing after everybody
Mm-hmm.
because I definitely like gave the elevator pitch to the king while the stone was still working and left them with one of the cards. And then as I'm coming up behind everybody, just being like, okay, well, I don't know what's in there, but since you can talk to ghosts and stuff, maybe you should go first. I'm pointing at the necro hamster.
She nods solemnly and enters into the castle, and you actually enter from the chain kind of leads to like almost a space below the castle itself, which as you enter can see that it's kind of like a basement or a crypt of sorts to this castle. You can hear movement above you. You don't hear anything in this crypt. You do see, however, a silver statue of an ancient king that you can tell would fetch a pretty penny if you were to take it with you. It does take 2 slots of your inventory. I can already see Winston shaking his head. Do any of you want to try to take this statue with you?
Is there like an arm that's pointy or stabby? or anything off of it.
Oh, that's interesting. I will actually you also margarine does have carry slots. So if you want to have margarine, take it. If none of you have space, they can. I will actually, you don't have to take it, but I think it'll be easier to do it this way. I will go ahead and put the statue in Margarine's slot so you can see what it looks like because there is a little illustration. So if in the Google Sheets you tab over to it, for people watching, I think it's a little soot creature. It looks almost like an egg, but I think it's supposed to be a piece of coal. So it's a little like almost Humpty Dumpty kind of figure holding a scepter with a crown and a little bit of a cape. So that's what the statue looks like. It is pretty big.
If you're an 80s kid, it's one of the anthropomorphized chicken McNuggets with a crown.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
That's a good call.
100%. Yeah.
I'm just gonna look at it and Pumpkin's gonna go, I think that you did a fair approximation back there.
Yeah, but it was definitely wireframe. This is solid. Uh, but
Yeah.
yeah, don't I remember reading something about like an Ohio Bob, and usually when you like disturb, statues and things, all of a sudden, uh, really big boulders start coming loose, and maybe like some insect like will excise the heart of a mammal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Ohio Bob. For sure. For sure.
I think Margarine was kind of like touching the statue to see if they could get it onto their back. And when you say that, they kind of stop and look around like with a little bit of concern that maybe they shouldn't take the statue.
What I never understood about Ohio Bob was that he was all for like fighting people, to like put stuff back in museums, but it wasn't his stuff to start with either. So he's still also just a criminal.
Again, Pulp Fiction seems to always be weird and mildly obsessed with feet.
Well, that's an interesting observation.
As you're having this conversation, you can hear that your discussion has brought some attention to you, and hear some little like ooh and like skittering sounds, some ghostly sounds. And you see kind of like peeking their heads down into this crypt 5 soot ghosts that look similar to these soot creatures you saw before, except for they don't really have like legs. They just have kind of a little ghostly, genie like kind of thing at the bottom. And instead of being black, like, so yeah, perfect. Exactly like that. Instead of being this like black and gray kind of like charcoal soot, they're like white and gray, like an ember that has like completely burned out and is like just kind of barely held together. So we're gonna do some combat as these ghosts enter the scene. Basically, the way that initiative works in this game is everyone makes a dexterity save. If you succeed in the save, you go before the enemies. If you fail in the save, you go after the enemies. And I will roll for the necro hamster to see how she does. Oof. Okay. Well, she got a 20, so she definitely fails. So despite being the first person in here is not going to act first. Did anyone succeed?
Yes, I got a 7 under 11.
Okay, so Winston, you go first, then the ghosts, then everyone else. So what is Winston doing?
Because combat has not actually happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because Winston is someone who listens to a lot of stories at the pub and occasionally will spy through a windowsill to TV.
Mm-hmm.
And considering this is autumn time, he's going to borrow something from Frankenstein and
Uh-huh.
try and go, "Hey there, handsome.
Uh-huh.
How you doing?"
Okay. I think this is a will save to try to charm these ghosts. It is gonna be pretty hard given their disposition.
Yes, but my
Um,
pansexual colored die loves me and gave me a 1.
okay. So I think I don't think this is going to completely like they're friends with you now.
No. They have ill intent. At
They have
most,
ill
I have very
intent.
much confused them. Maybe
Yes.
their undead sexuality, but I
Yeah.
have not stopped them from going, tasty living.
Yes. But I think essentially what you've done, because this could be pretty dire. There's 5 of them. As I've mentioned, you can very much die.
Oh yeah.
A lot of times with the mice, your best choice is going to be to run away or to try to do something clever to get out of the situation. So, because you because you got a 1 with this gambit, they are going to continue to come towards all of you, but they were kind of expecting either for you to all turn and run or for you to start fighting. So there's just kind of a moment where they're like, what's happening? I don't understand this. So essentially their turn is going to get skipped. But you can tell that they are really like menacing you. So I think for the rest of you, you can tell like this isn't going to be like, oh, they're going away. And in fact, you can see now that they are kind of summoning to their hands these burning torches that they look like they're going to soon be attacking you with. And let's see, between Thimble and Pumpkin, who wants to go next?
I can go next, and I'll look at
Mhm.
everybody and be like, do we want to have this fight?
Maybe we just run past them.
We could try running. I don't know.
Yeah, let's
Be your own boss. What do you want to do?
is there would there be space for us to run past them?
It would definitely be a roll to see if you can run past them without them getting some either potentially getting some hits on you or just blocking you, like you just kind of run into the middle of them because there are 5 of them, so they're kind of clustered together. I would say it would be a dex roll to try to run through them.
I would like to cast a spell to help us. I'm
Ooh,
gonna
yeah.
Cast darkness.
Incredible. Let me go to that page. So basically the way casting spells works, I think I went past it, it's different for each spell, but it's generally you choose how many dice you want to roll. And then that determines how many use it. Like, so basically you roll your dice, that determines if your spell gets like used up. You can also take the drained condition if a spell goes like poorly for you. So the more dice you roll, the higher the effect, but also the more dangerous it is for your mouse. For darkness, you create a sum, so the total sum of how many dice you roll, times 2-inch diameter sphere of pure darkness for turn number equal to the amount of dice you choose to roll. So yeah, how many? I'll say this area is I mean a decent size. It's not huge, so I think probably one oh, hang on, let me try to figure this out. Times 2 inches, so inches to feet is like pretty equivalent for like the purposes of this game. So the area that these ghosts are clustered in, we'll say, let me see, that would be a 2-inch diameter sphere. Let's say it's probably going to be like, because there's 5 of them, let's say 20 inches diameter sphere. So yeah, how many dice do you want to roll? And then we'll go from there.
One.
Cool. So go ahead and roll 1 die and let me know what the total is.
It is 5.
Okay, so it is a 10-inch diameter sphere, so you basically got about half of the like the area where all these ghosts are that is in total darkness. And it will be for 1 turn, so basically when it comes back around to your turn, this will go away. Since you got a 5, you will mark 1 usage of the spell.
Okay. And I'm just gonna look at everybody and be like, okay. And I want it to be the half that's like between us and the rest of the folks, and be like, okay, that's not gonna hold them for long. So I just bet we should probably just like skedaddle.
Cool. So that's just Thimble and the Necro Hamster. I'll say the Necro Hamster definitely go last, partially because she's an NPC and partially because she rolled a 20, which is pretty bad. So what is Thimble doing?
I think she sees Pumpkin try and run, so she's also gonna try and run.
Cool. Oh yeah, actually I'll say sorry, Pumpkin, if you want you can also move on your turn, so you can cast a spell and also move. Are you also getting out of here?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'll say both Pumpkin and Thimble roll me dex saving throws. You can have advantage because of the darkness. So you can, I mean, it's dark for you as well, but you aren't caught off guard by it.
I rolled a 19 and an 18.
Oh no, Thimble.
I rolled a 6, which my dex is 4. So I
Oh
was close, but not
no.
quite.
Dang. Okay. So I think Pumpkin, you let me see. How do I want to do this? Both of you are blocked. You can't move past these ghosts. It's there's I would say like semi-corporeal. So it's not like running into a brick wall. It's like running into like a cube of jello. Like you're not like completely you're not completely blocked, but it's like the air is a little thicker. You can't go through it because there's a bunch of them. They're all kind of it's compounding. So you're kind of stuck in the middle of them. And I will say, how bad is this? I think, where's my super secret stuff? Yeah, I'll do this. Because you kind of just ran right into the middle of them, and are in darkness, you can't see these burning torches that they have, and so kind of run yourself right into the danger. Both of you are going to take the burned condition, which I will does take up an inventory slot. So Pumpkin, you have a body slot available, so I'll just put it there, and then you can after the combat shuffle things around if you would like. And then let me see, what about where is Thimble? Thimble, I'll just put yours in your inventory since you have some slots there. So not only does this condition take up an inventory slot, but also you take 1 damage for each burned condition, including this one. So to start, you each just take 1 damage. That goes to your hit protection. So you two go to run out of here and just basically run smack. It's complete darkness. You can't see this, but you run smack dab into these ghostly torches, and your fur singes a little bit. Like you're a little bit. You can smell a little bit of burned hair. This will get worse if this continues to happen, but to start off, it's not the end of the world. Thimble, do you have an action you would like to take?
Yeah, I guess I'll try and swing at one with my sword.
Yeah. Okay. I think I will let this be an enhanced thing, because even though you're both in darkness, you knew this was coming because Pumpkin gave you kind of a little bit of advanced notice. So if I remember correctly, I believe if you're rolling enhanced, you just roll damage in this game. You don't have to roll to hit, and I think it's a D12. Yes, so when an attack is enhanced by a gambit or vulnerable opponent, roll a d12, which is a considerable amount of damage. And let me know what you got.
Unless it's a 4.
Oh, well, okay. Here's the good news, though. A 4 is, oops, I did the wrong thing. goes through their hit protection. So hang on 1 second while I do some. Oops, I keep hitting the wrong button. I put some stat blocks in here, but I didn't know how many soot ghosts there were going to be. So let me do that. Oh, I don't know why that's happening. One of them, you completely go through their hit protection and then to their strength. Let's have it be this one. So their current HP is 0, and then their strength goes down, which means they have to roll to see if they take critical damage, which will neutralize them. And I believe I think it's a will save. Rest and healing, hit protection, and damage. Oh yeah, when a creature takes critical damage, they take an injured condition. After taking strength damage, the creature must make a strength save. Okay. So it damages their strength, and then they have to make a save. So they have to get a 5 or lower, or be kind of this one ghost be taken out of the fight, and they don't. So you can't see anything, but feel your sword kind of like go into something and meet resistance, and then hear this kind of like woo sound as your sword like it meets resistance for a moment and then goes through as though this thing has disappeared. This creature is incapacitated. And I'll say for these ghosts, what incapacitated means for them is they go back to whatever plane they're from. So they kind of out of existence. And that is then going to bring it to the necrohamster's turn. And she is going to try to frighten these ghosts. Sorry, I keep bumping my microphone with this. So she'll roll 2 dice. Two of these creatures as she kind of steps forward. She's still in the light. She's not in the darkness. So those of you in the darkness can see from like outside of this area of darkness. She steps forward, kind of sweeps her cloak to the side, like over her shoulder, pulls out a different little a little stone, says something in a language that none of you understand that does kind of sound like this crackling language of these soot creatures. And 2 more of the ghosts into a different realm as they are frightened. So you still have 2 of them, and it is Winston's turn.
Question, storyteller.
Hmm?
Do ghosts in this realm operate on Final Fantasy logic? I.e., if I cast heal at them, do they go away?
Oh, interesting. I do love that idea. I think that's fun. It's not something that's established in the setting, so that's just up for me to decide. Yeah, I think here's what I'll tell you. If you want to, as a gambit, roll 3 dice to see if basically you have 3 chances of either becoming drained or having your spell completely used up. I will say, let me remind myself of what the heal effects are. There's only 2 of them. There's only 2 of them left.
Strength of healing.
Okay, let me look. Heal. Oh, okay. Heal some strength damage and remove the injured condition from a creature. Okay, cool. So I'll say yeah, I think if you roll, I'll only let you do this if you're willing to roll 3 dice.
I will roll all 3.
Okay, and then we'll just count whatever the heal amount would be as damage to them instead.
No 6s. I got
good.
2 2s and a 4.
Incredible. So only 1 usage. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage to, I will say this goes through their hit protection and directly to their strength. Because I'm just ruling things on the fly here. What did I say? 8?
Yes.
I'll split that amongst the two that are left, so they'll each have 2 strength left. And then I will roll. I'll do the rolling first, and then narratively we'll say, here's what this looks like. But they both technically get to make saves. It's slim chances that they will. One of them definitely does not. Yes, neither of them save. Okay. Winston. We'll say the 2 that are left are ones outside of this area of darkness, so that we can see what this looks like for you. How does the spell look? And what does it look like as these 2 remaining ghosts poof out of existence?
Winston from his coat produces a small like recreation of one of the stone tablets from the Ten Commandments.
Mm.
And I think he just screams, "By the power of friendship, I compel you."
Incredible.
And it's like there's this like slightly like bright white light that comes through.
Yeah. Yeah, these 2 remaining ghosts you can see like kind of like turn a little bit, like again like video game logic, turn a little bit red as this healing power hits them, and then both of them disperse into like nothing as they return from whence they came, at least for now, temporarily defeated. And you are all left alone in this ashen crypt. The statue is still here. The darkness, there's still like a little area of darkness. The necrohamster kind of like goes like, all right then, and like starts walking up these stairs to get out of this basement into the castle. And into the grand hall, which is where these soot ghosts came from. You can see anyone who follows along behind can see kind of like almost poltergeist, like there are all of these like paintings and things that are kind of ripped down off the walls, that's like what these ghosts were doing and causing mischief before you got up here. You can hear from further up in the castle some sounds of further ghostly activity, but there are none in this room. Oh, and also the timetable of events moves forward because combat by default takes a turn. So you hear, as well as these ghosts above you further up in the castle, from below you, the base of the chimney, you hear the rustling and thudding of wood being loaded into the fireplace, and can hear the disintegration of like the stairs below you completely gone, and can hear there's like a human kind of like this doof, doof, doof sound outside. You can hear them getting like the fire poker and the other things like that, and it seems like this chimney is going to be lit imminently. What do you all want to do?
Run!
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you run up to the up the tower. I'm trying to see. I think this leads to there's the mines, Castle Soot, Chain Bridge.
We've left Secret of Nim. We're in the rings now.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think this is how this works. Okay. You are gonna run into some more ghosts because there are more above you. Let me see. This is uh-oh. 9 ghosts. It's 2d6 ghosts. So you're running up the
Okay, but
stairs.
why? Okay, but why though?
Yeah. You can see there is like a little fire in Castle Soot. Because there's a bunch more of these portraits and things that have been taken off the wall that these ghosts have set fire to. So there's like a pyre of portraits of all these different like kings and things like that. I will say though, you knew they were up there. I'm not going to like assume that like the 3 of you just like, or 5 of you, I guess, just run into this. If you want to sneak or something like that, you definitely can. So you know, pound feet up the stairs, and can hear that there are ghosts, and a lot of them. What do you do?
My instinct is actually like just run in screaming, just slashing my sword around.
Just kind of try to keep on running. Yeah.
If you want to be Aragorn on Weathertop, I will follow you.
Oh, Captain, my captain.
Yeah, if everyone else is okay with it. doing
All
that.
right. So Thimble, it sounds like Thimble takes the lead. You just start running. How do I want to do this? Okay, I think it is gonna be, I'll have each of you roll dexterity just to see if you can run to the next flight of stairs before these ghosts can act, because they're all kind of clustered around this pyre. So everybody give me a dexterity roll. And I will have the necrohamster roll for it as well.
My lowest
13.
roll yet, and I still didn't make it.
Oh no! The necrohamster does. So she kind of like runs past. Maybe all of you. Did anyone succeed? No? Okay, so she's surprisingly fast, runs past all of you, and is like already heading up the next flight of stairs. The rest of you, who I think I'm trying to decide. Let me see what time it is. Do I want this to be? Yeah, okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. Not every failure is you like get into a fight. Sometimes failures are you take conditions. I think all three of you unfortunately are gonna take the exhausted condition. Because you are running past, but it really takes a lot out of you to do this before, like, because there's ghosts, and also they're chasing you. Like, they see you all run past slashing your sword, they're chasing you up the stairs. So exhausted doesn't have an additional effect, it just takes up a slot. So let me do this one. So Thimble's still good, has a slot for it. Winston is good, has a slot for it. I think oh, you're off paw, you still have a slot for it,
Yep,
Pumpkin.
I'm
So
good.
you are good. No one is over encumbered yet, but you are all exhausted. As you are chased. You don't even have to, there's like treasure here that you could take back to your, like, and back to Brickport and sell for a tiny sum. You don't have time for that. You're just running up the stairs. You pass through this like library that's like filled with like black soot. It's like kind of hard to breathe in this room because there's like fires and stuff that have been going, but you keep going. You go ultimately up to the royal chambers, which you can tell there must be treasure in here, but you simply don't have time to look for it as these ghosts are hot on your tail. But there is also a little basically like kind of the roof of the tower is kind of crumbling. So you've made a good amount of like progress towards getting to like the top of the chimney, which is your goal. Unfortunately, there are no more stairs, there's no more things like that. You just see like brick, some little like holes in the brick above you, some spider webs, and then at the very, very top of the chimney, there's like the roots of a plant that is kind of growing out of the chimney. But you are kind of right now between a rock and a hard place because these ghosts are right behind you. What are you doing? Are you gonna try to like make something really quick, or are you just gonna try to climb up the the crumbling brick walls? What's the plan?
I'm gonna. Oh, go ahead. I see you ready to talk. Pope.
I have a terrible idea.
Oh, good, because I have a terrible idea. But you go first.
I want to hear both of the terrible ideas.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you all allow, this is going for the team and the storyteller. You said they're like Jello, these ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
The chimney is being filled with wood. There is a human out there.
Yes.
And we're at the top of this tower, which is primarily constructed with soot.
Yes.
torch in one hand,
Mm-hmm.
sword in other.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take the tablet
Mm-hmm.
and I want to Legolas down these stairs, having them crumble behind me, fighting off these ghosts and trying to crumble the tower as I'm going down, so that the ghosts are going to have to make a choice: either follow them or follow me.
Yeah. Incredible. Okay, Alex, what is your idea? Just to see if we can get both of these or if it's we'll have to choose between the two plans.
So I think that um Pumpkin says, so I've learned a lot about how bats fly. Um, and I know that the oxygen burned up by fire will like create an updraft. So if we can just, maybe make one of those that parachute thingy again, or just have something like a hot air balloon, right? So uh yeah, as we're like are the ghosts like hot on our heels, or can I like go back into one of the rooms and grab like a sheet or something?
They're pretty hot on your heels, which is the
Okay.
bad news. I don't think you have time to grab something without it being a risk. I will say though, as you are looking around, Pumpkin, you like I imagine this is like you're like seeing out of like the tower like kind
Yeah.
of crumbled above you, looking around for like something that you can grab. It is a bit of a climb, but you can see above you a hanging from a nail inside the chimney, a tattered balloon. So you'd have to climb up to get to it, but there is something here that you could use that if you can get there would make things easier for you.
Yep, I am 100% gonna use my wooden spikes to climb up and get this balloon.
Okay, cool. Okay, so it sounds like Winston is going back down the tower and trying to crumble it, which would be very helpful, but also potentially the end of Winston if this goes poorly. What is Thimble's plan? Are you also going to try to climb after? Do you have like some other thing that you want to do?
Don't think she knows what to do, and I think she sees them going in opposite directions. So she's
Yeah.
gonna sit there with the necro hamster for a second and see what happens from both of this
Yeah.
to see who needs her assistance.
Yeah, I think yeah, the necro hamster is also kind of like trying to figure out what's happening. I think Margarine is like as a bug just kind of starting to climb up like the wall of the chimney so it doesn't have to be taken care of. Um at this very pivotal moment. Hello, Raiders. Live from the apocalypse. Thank you so much for being here. You might be here just in time to see a character die, depending on how Pope rolls, and to a lesser extent how Alex rolls. But really quick, I will say we are raising money for Extra Life right now. So if you want to see how you can donate, I believe this is the command. I maybe didn't do it right. I maybe didn't capitalize. Oh yes, here it is. So you can click on the link and donate to the fundraiser. We are, I think, $50 away from our halfway mark. And if you want to make the situation slightly less dire for these mice, if you donate $5 or $10, you can give either all the mice a boost for $10 or one of the mice a boost for $5. So wanted to say that really quick before we determine what happens next.
You can also choose to harm us.
Yeah,
For 50.
you could for 50
Or don't say
choose
that.
to harm them.
No. And Cass, I see you in the chat. Don't do it.
We'll
Do
see.
not choose violence.
It's for children. Choose the violence.
It is for
For
children.
the children. Choose the violence for the children.
For the children, kill these mice. Okay. So, let's I think Alex, let's do your roll for pumpkin spite first because it's less dire, I think. Like if you fail this, it's not great, but it's not as bad as crumbling a tower around you. So I think this is a dex roll. And
Can I make the argument that I can do it through my sheer will?
okay, let me
Higher
look
number.
let me look at how will is described because I'm open to shenanigans.
Oh, it's fine. I rolled a
Um,
2. We're fine.
Oh,
Don't
okay,
worry
cool.
about it.
Yeah. Go ahead and I think with a 2, you won't mark usage of your items because you said you were going to use your wooden stakes. So that's a solid success. So you immediately you like have this idea, you say it out loud, you see this tattered balloon up ahead of you, and start making your way up there. Even though you're very tired and very covered in soot, you're able to do it. And I think the necro hamster kind of follows along behind you as like these stakes are in the wall. Um, okay.
Just gotta stay on that grind, you know?
So I'm trying to determine what even this role is for Winston because you're going back down into the ghosts and destroying the tower around you. So best case scenario, you are a full tower below everyone else and still alive. So
that's the best case scenario.
that's the
Um,
best case
well,
scenario.
But Winston's goal,
Uh-huh.
let's declare this,
Yeah.
is the tower crumbles around him. He rides the tablet. He's going to lose the tablet.
Yes.
Is able to let go of his torch,
Uh-huh.
grab hold of the chain,
Okay.
swing the chain across. As his
Uh-huh.
feet gets towards the mantle with the chain, let go, tumble onto the mantle as the entire tower crumbles, and
Yes.
the mantle is then set on fire with the torch.
Okay. Okay. I think this is a dex roll. This is going to be multiple rolls. I think
Yes,
first
this makes sense.
first a dex roll, which is you getting on your magic tablet and sledding down. So how did that go?
I feel this is an indicator, as the pansexual die gods have given me a 10. So we're very close.
Okay. So that is a success, because your dex is 11.
Yeah.
You are able to slide down. I think part of the reason why it is a success is because you're kind of sliding, like, you managed to build up enough speed that you're almost sliding through these ghosts, which are like slowing you down a little bit. So you're not going at like a breakneck speed. um, but you do kind of like through them. I think the next is going to be a strength roll to try to, as you're doing this, knock the tower down around you.
That was a 2.
Okay, which is good for people just joining us. A 2 is good. You want to roll low in this game.
That
yeah.
was almost a 20. It
which would be bad. Yeah, I'll let you describe how this tower comes down around you and like what you're doing, and then there'll be another roll to see if you live. Basically,
like again, he's as he's being slowed and slimed as he's going through the ghosts, he's sticking his sword into the wall of this tower.
Yeah.
And just dragging the sword, going down these stairs.
Yeah.
Essentially cutting the thing from the inside.
Incredible. Yeah, and this tower is kind of falling around you. We did get a $5 donation. Thank you so much. Whoever did that, if you're in chat, which presumably you are, let me know who you want to give a bonus to. If you want to give it to Winston, to Thimble, or to Pumpkin. But Winston. Okay, cool. So Winston, you will have advantage.
Okay.
on this. If you choose to use it, I guess you don't have to.
Sure. Let's see if I grab hold of that brass ring.
So yeah, I think this is dexterity.
Okay.
So this tower is crumbling around you, like pieces of soot are kind of hitting you, kind of bouncing off of you. And you're trying to grab this chain to keep from dying. Oh no.
That was an 18 and then a 19.
Oh, Winston. So it's almost slow motion as you things are going so well despite the odds. Winston, you hop on top of your slab and are sliding down. You are taking the tower down around you. The soot is crumbling, the ghosts are puffing out of existence around you. You can hear, even from this outpost, all of these soot soldiers angrily jeering because their castle is being destroyed by you. And there's just one last thing you have to do as you are the tablet falls away from under your feet and you have to grab onto this chain bridge and your fingertips hit the chain and you don't quite make it and you're falling. And what is the last thing that Winston is thinking in this moment?
Um, I think what we see is he's falling. He hits the mantelpiece. The he the impact forces him to let go of both the torch and his sword. Um, he slides across the mantle. The fingers, like the claws, grabbing the sides of the mantelpiece. Looks up. Fly, you fools! And plummets into the fire that has now been lit in
Yes.
the fireplace.
Yeah, as you're falling, yeah, because that is the next thing on the on the timetable of events. So yeah, as you fall, we see this kind of fire from the fireplace bloom around you, like the chimney begins to fill with smoke and heat. And that's the end of poor Winston Breyer. But Pope, not the end for you, because you can make a new character. And if you want to, you can go. We talked about this in the session 0.
Yeah.
You can just roll up a new character on the Mausritter website. So I'll give you a moment to do that. We'll bring in that new character right away. But let's see what Thimble is doing, because the last we left off, Thimble, you were at the top of this tower trying to decide what you were gonna do next.
I think she's just like, okay, well, I definitely could not have helped there.
Oh no.
This is why I told everyone to be careful. Okay, are you comfortable climbing? And I'll ask the necro hamster.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's already kind of like swinging along from like these stakes that are left behind by by Pumpkin Spite. So he's like, I think like you're maybe on like a little bit of like a precipice of something that's left after the tower has collapsed. It's not sturdy. You're about to fall.
Yeah, I'll just start climbing the wall towards where Pumpkin Spite's going.
Yeah, I will go ahead and say, go ahead and roll. I think this is, I feel like this is more strength. I could see it being strength or dex, so I'll let you choose which you would rather roll for the climb.
Either one I failed.
Oh no. Oh no. So I think essentially this means Thimble. Let me look. You don't fall to your death. But I think you're probably gonna take another condition. Let me see. The cylinders are destroyed. The chimney fills with smoke and begins to warm. Yeah, I think unfortunately you are going to take another exhausted condition. Which you actually don't have too much inventory, so you still have space for. Let's put that there. Cool. So you managed to go across these these stakes that are driven into the wall, are doubly tired when you get to the end of it. But join the necro hamster Margarine and Pumpkin Spite over by this where this balloon is. And it is kind of like hanging off of this nail. It's one of those like kind of like paper balloons. So it's a little bit flimsy, and it's like, not fully, in place. I guess it's like kind of tattered, but with a little work, perhaps, perhaps you could make this work, as the chimney is getting warm, like the fire is coming up from below. And I'll also say, Pope, do you have your new character ready, or do you need a second?
Uh, just need to grab equipment, but yeah, we have Bert. He's a trap thief.
Yeah, so as you get to this like tattered balloon, you find a mouse already sitting there, maybe, and there's like a little bit of like crumbling out of the brick that makes like a little alcove in the wall. And see this mouse, Bert. What does Bert look like?
Um, Bert is marbled blue. Um, he is a marble blue mouse. We're going to just go with film stand-ins because that's what I can grab right now. So have the anthropomorphized mouse of Dick Van Dyke, Mary Poppins era.
Oh.
um, just there, going. I was supposed to be on this mission, but you all gone ahead of me. But it's good to see that the majority of you are still here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be climbing up and be like, what does he mean by that?
Name's Bert. Getting here was not easy. You seem very interested in this here balloon.
Yeah, we're if we can get it going up, that with the heat from down there, it'll take us up, and hopefully we'll, avoid the rest of whatever this death trap is.
Well, death trap is an excellent description. Considering both the birds and the spiders.
Oh no.
And the
Oh
ants.
jeez.
I don't know if they told you about this, but there may be ants on the roof.
Oh my. No one told me about that. And I'm just gonna look at the necro hamster and be like, they really need to increase our pay for this.
But I can see you both getting this balloon loose.
Yeah, if you could just help us out there, would you mind?
No, not at all. No problem. No problem at all. And I'm going to take for my item for weapon. I will take a hook arm.
Ooh, nice. Handy.
And try and use the hook arm to get the balloon loose.
Yeah, I think this is a dexterity roll, but I don't think it'll take any. This is not going to be strenuous on your weapon at all. It's mostly just a little fiddly to try to get this like paper balloon off of like where it's hooked without being damaged or falling.
Yeah, that's a 6 versus a 12, so we're good.
Incredible. Yeah, you handily from your little kind of your little like perch, like kind of go down and like get this thing up to you. And I think there's like there's not a space with this crumbling brick big enough for all of you to kind of be in a little alcove together, but there are a few different ones, so you can kind of find your footing, each of you in a little slot in in the crumbling brick of the inside of the chimney, close enough together that you can kind of manage to work together. I think because of the precariousness of this, it will be more rolls and take more time to try to do something with this balloon. But the the kind of worst case scenario for this is not that you will fall, more likely that the balloon will fall from one of your grasp, as you're trying to fix this. So yeah, the balloon as it is right now is not in like working order. Like you couldn't ride this up out of the chimney as it is right now. But if you want to try to do something to get it to work for you, you can work together and try to do that. Do you have ideas of what you want to do?
So, yes, I would like to try and like piece it together, like maybe making the paper wet and like doing some
Mm.
paper mache kind of like patching
Mhm.
of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be mine. It'd just be like, sometimes you just gotta work with what you have.
Yeah.
I have some
Um,
glue.
Oh, that'd be helpful.
Incredible. Yeah, glue very handy for such a time as
I,
this.
I like I my equipment is glue and cheese.
So have a
Wait.
little snack and glue everything together.
Love this for us.
Yeah.
Uh,
I will also say, has anyone taken damage, or is it just that someone has died? Okay. So
Yeah, we
you
each
do.
took one from
Oh,
burned,
that's
right?
right, from being
we're
burned.
burned. Yeah.
So while you kind of reach the spot that's kind of safe, let me remind myself of what you do to so you can clear conditions. I think the burned condition, you have to take a cold bath, which unfortunately not really any cold baths around here. But for rest and healing, so you want to take a turn, which is about 10 minutes. You can take a swig of water, a few minutes of rest, will fully restore your hit points because it's d6 plus 1 hit protection. So if you want to take that, that is of course the danger of you're taking 10 minutes to do something, and you're on a time crunch. But just wanted to float that idea out there that like if you want to rest first, then work on the balloon, you can. If you want to just not worry about your HP and work on the balloon, up to you.
I say we just run on the balloon and go for it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we've
One
got
shot.
yeah, for sure. So we have Bert with the glue. We've got Pumpkin Spite with with kind of wetting the paper a little bit in places. What is Thimble doing?
Um, she doesn't really have anything that could help like structure the balloon in any way. All she has is the torch to put hot air.
Mm.
So I don't know if she's just like standing with like one arm on the wall and one arm with the torch, like, okay, let me know when. Let me know.
Do you want to be keeping an eye out, Thimble, for potential dangers or things that are happening while the other two are working?
Well, now that
Yeah,
you
one of the
mention it.
questions I one of the questions I had was like, did we just go straight up from the tower or did we go across?
You kind of went across. So you're kind of at, let me look at
All
the,
those little holes?
yes, you're at all the little holes, where it's a swift bug's lair. You're kind of below that. You can actually see the balloon,
Okay, yeah.
on the map. There's like a little tattered piece of like kind of fabric that you're looking at. That's where you are, and you're kind of like stationed in these little holes.
Okay, yeah, I think she'll just get like in one of those holes so she's like fully standing somewhere and just start
Mm-hmm.
like scoping out and like listening and yeah, keeping watch.
Perfect. Okay, so I think Pumpkin and Bert Let's have, I think since Bert has the glue, that seems a little more pertinent than Pumpkin wetting things. I think that can be like a stopgap. Maybe some of the smaller holes, like Pumpkin can kind of fill this in. So let's say Bert, go ahead and roll a dexterity save with advantage because you have someone helping you,
Okay.
to see if you are able to patch this balloon up.
Ooh. Glad for the reroll. Because the first one was the 20, the second one is 12. We're
Perfect. So
getting
you
by the skin of our teeth.
you just succeed. So yeah, you're able to kind of patch this thing up. I think maybe even Pumpkin, you're kind of noticing some other like scraps of paper in some of these other holes too, so you're able to kind of like go around and be like, oh, like here's, I think this is a piece of the balloon, or like this is a piece of like kindling that kind of got blown, like some newspaper, something that kind of got blown up into the chimney, some soot. You're able to kind of like, you know, mix that together and kind of patch this balloon up. It does take you about a full turn to be able to do this, just because you have to kind of pass it back and forth. I think with a just success, there are a couple of near misses where Bert, like either Bert or Pumpkin, like almost dropped the balloon, and then the other one of you managed to catch it. Even Thimble, who's helping as well, I think can kind of be like, oh, you're like losing your grip over here. Thimble, while this is happening and you're kind of standing, like keeping an eye on things, from above, right kind of at the tail end of like the balloon, like you're about ready to like, you know, put the torch under and get this balloon going, see a flicker of something, like a line or a string or something, kind of like go down past your vision like a fishing line, and then go whoop, back up.
Um, hey Bert, I'm gonna hand you this torch. Um, don't be alarmed, anyone. There might be a spider above us or something. I'm gonna go check it out. Just keep doing what you're doing, and I'm gonna like slowly crawl up the wall.
Yeah, you climb up the wall. There's enough holes here, and you don't have to go too far to be able to see something, which is, ooh, I'm trying to decide. This is not a roll to see if you can climb, because you can. Give me a dexterity saving throw. This is like kind of an initiative roll to see if you see something happening before it is about to happen to you, essentially. So yeah, give me a dexterity roll and let me know if you
In a
succeed or
regular
fail.
D&D game, I'd be crushing it tonight.
Oh
Number
no.
8.
Dang. So you, especially you don't have your torch, so the light is a little bit flickery. It's kind of hard to see. You're able to find, like, you know, you see another little hole that you can get up to so you can look around a little bit better. But as you are climbing towards it, something happens to you, which is, okay. So you're going to take 5 damage. And also give me a dex save. And then I will tell you what's happening.
Sorry, how much damage again?
5 damage. So I think that goes through your hit protection and to your strength.
Yeah, I take 4 off my strengths.
Dang. Put it in the yellow slot because you're that's your like current yeah. That way you don't forget how much strength you're supposed to have.
My rolls a 19. Damn it.
Oh no. Okay, so I will say what the others of you see, which is Bert. You like have this torch. This balloon is about ready to like, you know, it's about ready to sail. And then Thimble, you see a fish hook kind of cast from above her and hook into her. I think kind of like, you don't see exactly how, but kind of like under her fur, like taking damage, and then she is yanked up above you, where you can see this family of little bugs with fishing hooks who are above you in some of these holes in the in the area above you that are like several of them are casting out hooks. You can see like them trying to get to the two of you as well and the necro hamster, but you're back kind of in your little cubbies. Um, but Thimble, the last thing you have to roll to see truly how bad this is give me a strength save. It has to be equal to or lower than your current strength. So it has to
Nope.
be equal to 6 or lower. No? Okay. Poor Thimble. So you're not dead. Consolation prize. But oh, actually, I think because they used this hook, you actually were already pulled up. So for different creatures, sometimes their critical damage instead of incapacitating you does something else. Their critical damage, they reel you in with a fishing rod. But you already saved for that, so you were kind of a little bit doomed with that one. So you're already reeled up. You're not incapacitated. You're very hurt, but you're kind of up in the middle of these bugs. We did get a $15 donation, so go ahead, all of you take an advantage. And then if the person who tips that is in chat, let me know, because there's an extra $5, I think. So let me know who you want to give 2 advantages to. So okay, so Bert and Pumpkin and the necro hamster see Thimble yanked up higher into the chimney by these bugs. And I'll say Bert and Pumpkin, you can now take action. And then we'll have you roll initiative to see if you get to basically go twice in a row.
Okay. You said the balloon's ready.
The balloon's ready.
Um, in that case, time to fly. But at the same time, it's like he's trying to grip hold in such a way that like he's bear hugging the balloon, but has his hook
Yeah.
to try and push the other hooks that are trying to fish us out of the way.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that's dexterity. So go ahead and roll a dexterity to keep these other hooks that are trying to fish you out of the way. Cool. So you succeed. So they're not going to be able to fish you on their next turn. So that's great. And you are kind of starting, like the balloon is filling up with hot air, both from the chimney itself and also from the torch that you're holding. What is Pumpkin doing?
I think Pumpkin's getting the necro hamster on and is screaming up at the bugs that took her friend and go, hey, no, none of that now. I will be calling your mother. And is getting ready to attack when we get closer so that we can try and get I want to try and buy just enough time for our friend to like make a running jump.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think because this is kind of like your turn and like the getting onto the balloon is not going to like be like a full action. That's kind of like your movement. And you have a ranged weapon, right? You have a sling and stone.
I do.
Cool. Go ahead and roll your damage for that. To see if you can take out one of this family of 3 swift bugs that are kind of like they're like kind of to describe a little bit what they look like. They're like kind of those like almost like kind of flat like beetles. They're like a lot smaller than you. But there are 3 of them and they have these fish hooks. They look hungry, Thimble. They look like they haven't eaten in a while, so a little bit worrying. But yeah, what did you get? So for attack rolls, you just roll whatever the weapon says the damage for it is.
It's a d6. And can I roll 2 of them like I did with darkness?
No, it's just one.
Just the
yeah,
one?
so
Okay.
just one at a time, yeah.
All right, the one is 4.
Nice. I am pretty sure fully take out one of these bugs. I guess I have to roll. I have to roll to make sure they're actually taken out. But you do go through their hit protection.
Yeah. Don't mess with the Midwestern princess.
All right, let me. So their hit protection is 0, and then their strength goes down. Let me roll to see if this bug scuttles away or is incapacitated. Okay, so unfortunately did succeed on the critical damage. So is injured, is not taken out of the fight. So you really thwack it with a rock, and it's kind of like, rocked back a little bit, but is not injured or running away. Okay, so Bert and Pumpkin, roll me initiative to see if you go again before these bugs or if you go after. Thimble, you'll go actually, while they're rolling initiative, Thimble, go ahead and take an action, because I realized you got ambushed and then I didn't give you a turn.
So how many of these bugs are there?
3 of them.
And I'm pulled up right next to them now?
You're kind of in the middle of them, yeah.
And am I bigger than them?
Yes, you're definitely bigger than them.
Okay. Because my instinct is, could I happen to grapple or push all 3 of them off of the ledge with me?
Ooh, yeah. Definitely. Are you trying to like grab them and throw yourself off, or are you trying to like shove them off?
Grab them and throw them off with me.
Cool. Yeah, let's say I think this is a strength roll if you want to be able to do that. Which unfortunately your strength is only 6 right now. But I do think that's what it has to be.
First time I rolled under.
Yay!
I rolled 3.
So yeah, Thimble, again, this is kind of a slow motion thing. This could, whatever happens after this could go very poorly for Thimble, depending on how your 2 compatriots do with this sudden move. You are a little bit above them. So yeah, what does it look like, Thimble, as you grab these 3 bugs and fling yourself out of this little alcove?
Like in her brain, she's just like, I can just get everyone else out of here. So she's just gonna like throw herself off with all of them and just say,
Yeah.
"Oh, my 213 children, I love them."
Okay. So Pumpkin and Bert, did you succeed on your dex saves for initiative?
Yes.
Thank Mousy God. Because that could have been really bad. Okay, so each of you get to go again before Thimble completely starts to plummet to her death. Who wants to go first?
I got a 1.
Oh,
You
cool.
would go first.
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
So I want to ready an action with my prehensile tail and use it as like use it to hold on to the balloon to the to like the string or whatever that is on the balloon, and then like jump out and grab onto my friend.
Yeah, I think this is strength, definitely.
Gotcha.
Because you have to hold on and also grab another mouse. So go ahead and give me a strength save. If you have any advantages, I would maybe use it personally.
I got it.
Up to you.
I got it. I got a 3. So
Incredible.
It's a success.
Incredible. So just go ahead, Pumpkin. Describe how you save Thimble's life.
Yep. So as I wrap my tail around this this string, I'm just gonna go, all right, here we go, and just launch myself out with both hands. You can hear playing in the background is you're my angel, you're my darling angel. And I just reach out to like grab the hands of Thimble,
Yeah.
and like pull yeah, exactly. And pull you back to back with the balloon and just be like, never gonna let you down, hon. Let's go.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
You two are both dangling by a mouse's tail off of a paper balloon. Bert, you're mostly out of danger, but you do have a turn. Is there something that you want to do as the
Well,
balloon is going up in the air?
making sure that we're like aiming for the hole we're
Yeah.
going to go through and clearing whatever debris with the hook.
Incredible. Yeah. You do see that there is like a spider web kind of off to your side, but clear it out of the way
Hell
with the
no.
hook. Yeah. Yeah. As all of you kind of rise up to there, the necro hamster is also kind of like doing the same thing, like using her cape to kind of like brush things out of the way. You do see a disappointed and very hungry looking spider off in the corner of the web as you clear it away, but you sail past it. You see this family of hungry bugs falling down beneath you, like what's his name in Die Hard? The bad guy in
Yes.
Die Hard. Uh, and but your party miraculously floating out of the chimney of this house with the necro hamster, and kind of sailing over the estate. You can see down below you this house that the humans live in. You can see this pond out front, this little forest, this tree's a little side building. You can see all of it down below you in a way that I imagine none of you have ever seen before, as most of you are not seasoned adventurers. You all are kind of hanging on. I think you're managing to like get a better, a better grip. And as you kind of sail out of the chimney, because you don't have as much hot air coming from that chimney, begin to float gently back down to earth. You still all have torches, so you can be using those to help a little bit, but sail back down to earth. And have succeeded. You get your reward from, what did I name the widow? Poppy Pepperpot, who desperately needed to ask the necrohamster a question and said that if you were able to bring her back and she was able to ask the question, that you would get your money. So you get back down to Brickport, a little, some of you double exhausted, two of you burned, one of you dead, one of you kind of just came in at the tail end, and deliver the necrohamster to Poppy, who asks her question, kind of pays out the money and then says, I was just needing to ask my dear husband where he left that tasty morsel of cheese we got over the summer. And the negro hamster kind of nods, begins laying out the rituals for to be able to communicate with the husband. But you got your pips. You're here. And yeah, I'll say we're just about at time, but let's each of you, if you want to go around and say like one last little thing, how things wrap up for your mouse, or what you do afterwards, what you do with your share of the pips. And let's start with Bert, who's had the least screen time.
Bert's happy to have all them pips and is going to see about getting some more clothes, as the one random thing for looks is unwashed clothes I got for him. So he's going to go on a clothing spree and maybe do more of this adventuring and try to be just beautifully late to everything.
It worked out. It worked out in Bert's favor. What about Thimble?
I think Thimble is going to offer to introduce all of her 213 children to the other members. Be like, yeah, so Pumpkin Spice, I took your advice with my pips. I'm becoming my own boss. And me and my children are going to start building specific equipment for adventuring, because we had a lot of things that could have came in handy and we just didn't have them. So we're just going to make that. So if you ever need any of this equipment, I mean, you can just have it for free because you taught me how to be my own boss.
What about Pumpkin?
Yeah, so as we're coming out, and when we were riding in this balloon, I want everyone to know that they were continuing to give the speech and go down with like, yeah, must be what the bats see. And you could also get in on this very unique opportunity where you could help the bats move some product and you could be your own boss. And then like after all of this, she's ecstatic to hear Thimble is gonna go and do um uh this new adventure. But she's going to continue to use like some of the expertise that she used here to try and like get more people involved in her mouse multi-level marketing scheme, and uses the balloon to transport uh the bat guano around and expand the business.
Hmm. Incredible. I think the last thing we see is as the leaves are falling, it's the beginning of November, the leaves are starting to fall, the wind is starting to take a chill. I think we see them fall over a little memorial marker for poor Winston Breyer. And I think there's like a little like, notation there that says he died saving his friends. And we see the leaves kind of fall over this memorial for Winston. And that's Mausritter. That's the game. Thank you everybody so much for watching and being here. I think if my calculations are correct, I think we got $45 for Extra Life during the stream. So thank you everyone who donated. Incredible. And I think we're $30 away from the halfway mark. So there's still another stream today, which I will talk about in a second. But before we do that, we'll go ahead and do our outros for everybody. So I'm Taylor Felicity. You can find me online pretty much everywhere at Roll for Felicity. I do stream on my own channel, so if you like one-shots like this, I actually have a Mausritter series that I ran on my channel. It was a series of, I think, 5 one-shots. So if you like this, go to YouTube, search Roll for Felicity, and there's a playlist for Mausritter games. I won't go and say all of my different streams and stuff like that because you can just follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Tumblr, all those places to see what I'm up to. And I also want to say thank you so much, Val, for producing this stream and putting this whole event together. It's a lot of work, and really appreciate it going for such a good cause. I'll throw it over Pope for you to do your outro. Let us know where you can find you and like 1 or 2 other things that you have going on.
Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope World Build on both that thing that was Twitter and primarily Blue Sky. If you want to know primarily where you can find me and see me, just keep your eyes peeled on that space. Thank you so much for being here and helping us raise money for Extra Life. If you want to see more of this silly face, on the 10th at 3 p.m. Eastern over on Praxcore Thesmophoria, I will be helping out over there, raising money for Fisher House. It is a charity for veterans and their families that have a medical need and emergency, and provides them with housing while their loved ones get care. And again, thank you all so much. Extra Life is an incredibly important charity, and we are in charity season, so definitely keep your eyes peeled on all the social medias. Promote everything. Also, I understand with how things are tight. Give responsibly. Please take care of yourselves and one another. And for my fellow folks in the U.S., go vote. Love you all. Take care.
Incredible. Alex, where else can people find you, and what's like 1 or 2 other projects you have coming up?
Yeah, so hey, my name's Alex. I use they, them pronouns. And you can find me at That One Dead Pixel, most places on the internet, specifically Twitter and Instagram, or where I'm most active, or here on Discord. And yeah, you can next see me tomorrow, where I will be doing another Extra Life stream over on Live in the Apocalypse at 10 a.m. Eastern, where we're going to do a psychological horror game where I'm going to be a hot priest, and the house is trying to kill us. So, hooray! So this game, much different vibes. I don't know. I don't know. Could be more death. Who knows? Anyways, but yeah, the whole point of this weekend is to raise money for Extra Life. So thank you everybody who's contributed. Please, if you haven't yet and you have the ability, please come on over and continue to just, let's help us meet some of these goals. And yes, as an ex-Catholic, trust me, we're bringing in all the religious trauma into this. Like I got the outfit, so
Ooh.
Mhm.
Do you want to fuck
Incredible.
a priest or do you want to fuck God?
So funny. I don't even know if chat can hear Val.
I don't think they can. And oh,
They did. Okay.
oh, good. Okay.
The
Well,
voice
if
of God.
in that case, of course I do. Yeah, the answer is yes.
Amazing. Amy Sue, what about you? Where can people find you? And let us know one or two other things you have coming up.
I don't stream anywhere. I am a full-time theater professor at a university in Boston. So I don't have time to stream ever. I rarely have
Yeah.
time to play, but I saw this event and I was like, I want to be a part of it. So I joined, I donated. It's very important. Anyone who's watching, please donate. If anyone is ever looking for me for whatever reason, I love playing games and I just want to learn them all. So any of my social media handles are always Amer Susan. Yeah.
Amazing. So before we go, I will say stick around, watch the space because at the top of the hour, which is 7 p.m. for me, 7 p.m. Eastern, the next game on this channel, Punlandia will be running a game of Brindlewood Bay, Escape from Sweet Valley, which you're not going to want to miss. Sweet Valley, super fun. Brindlewood Bay, one of my favorite games. So stick around. There'll be more chances to donate. And then tomorrow there's also 3 more one shots that are going to be incredible. So watch this space. And I think that's everything that I have to say. So I guess time to say goodbye.
Bye, everybody.